Hi, I'm Mary Dunstan and I'm from Kamloops, British Columbia. I am about to make some cookies here. I'll give you the name in a second, but before I do that, I want you to know that all the ingredients in this cookie can be purchased at Upaya Naturals. It's quite a good list. Anyways, they are RawChocolateDiabloCookies. Groats, that is this month's menu or choice for the contest. So I'm just going to read out the ingredient list, and it's this right here is your a cup and a half of buckwheat groats. They have been soaked, they've been dried, and then ground. If they're not, then you're not going to digest. So this is why we soak them first, then you need to dry them so you can grind them. The next ingredient in this is a cup of raw cacao powder. I have combined the 1 teaspoon of cinnamon in here, and I've got a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now the recipe calls for a teaspoon if you don't like a lot of heat, because it does, but these cookies are absolutely to die for, and the heat really does make them. So this is my cayenne and cinnamon. We have a cup of chocolate chips. This is xylitol. This is a cup of xylitol, and because it's quite gritty, I have ground it up a little bit finer to use, otherwise you're kind of chewing your way through the sugar. And the next one here is a cup of, you can use maple syrup powder or lucuma powder. I've chosen to do the lucuma today. I've done the maple syrup one. This is my coconut oil, and you're wondering why it is colored. It's because I added my sunflower liquid lecithin to this, because it just makes the lecithin easier to get out of my container when I've mixed the two. We're going to use a tablespoon of vanilla, and this is ground up. There's 3 tablespoons here of fresh ginger. These 2 little ingredients here will be used at the very end. This one is salt, and this one is xylitol ground up again, and those will be sprinkled on the cookies. Okay, back to the beginning here. So for now, I'm going to pick up my dry ingredients, and I'm going to put them in my nice big Bosch bowl. And I have a set of wire whips, as we call them, in here, and this is going to be great for mixing all the dry ingredients together. I'm not going to put the chocolate chips in just yet. I'm going to put the sugar though. Next is the lucuma powder. Now that I've got all those dry ingredients in, I'm going to put a lid on, because I don't want powder all over my face, thank you very much. So now I can hold this a little bit like this, and I don't need that lid on. And I'm just going to, oh, you can see the stuff coming up. So let me just put this on. Okay, now I'm going to take out my wire whip, and I'm going to replace it with my dough hook. This bowl has been incredible, especially for being a raw foodie, because I can mix up lots and lots of things. So here are my chocolate chips. Oop, nope, they're good. I was going to say they're warm weather and they're melted. Next I'm going to add my oil and lecithin. Yes, lecithin can be quite sticky, but lecithin replaces eggs. Lecithin is also very good for lowering cholesterol, which I think most people would be happy to hear. And I'm using a tablespoon of vanilla. And last but not least is my ginger. It calls for 3 tablespoons of juice or 3 tablespoons of grated ginger. cookies are just to die for. So now we're going to mix this all up. Just going to stop for 1 second. I'm going to show you what it's like. And I need to push down some of this dry stuff in here. Now, not everybody has a Bosch. You could do this in your food processor. You might have to do it in smaller amounts, or you can do it in a bowl and use your mixer, your hand mixer, whatever to start with. And then if it doesn't quite do the job, if it's too hard on your mixer, then just pull a fork through here. I'm going to turn this on for another minute. And you get little hairs, but that's from the ginger, of course. I try to cut my ginger really thin so the hairs aren't long. Okay, I'm just going to grab a fork. Oh, maybe it's good enough that I don't need to. Good. So, this out. And the next thing, I'm just going to pull my sheet down. I need to ask my grandson who's watching me film this to go into the refrigerator in the back, and on the bottom shelf is a large plastic container, and it has some of these in there already made up, so you have an idea. So Thomas, if you wouldn't mind doing that for me. So I use an ice cream scoop, and I just do that, and I just push it down. If you wanted to roll these up like a log and then cut them, you can do that. I mean, you can make them whatever shape you want. You could flatten them out if you wanted with, thank you, Thomas. If you want to just set the container there, darling, that would be great. So I just go along and I fill all of this up. I'm not going to do any more. I think you get the idea of this. Then the next thing you do is I just take a pinch, and this is the sugar. This is like making ginger snaps, and the sugar on the outside helps them to crack a little bit. And then this is, of course, sea salt. And I just do a couple of sprinkles on top, just like that. Now, here, oops, this is my extra, sorry, I have a few other extra cookies in here that I've made, but this is what they look like once they have been dehydrated. So the next step is once you've got all your cookies made, is you are going to put this into the dehydrator, and you're going to dehydrate it now for 8 hours, or you be the judge as to how long it's going to take. Anyway, I want to thank you, Paya, and I hope everybody enjoys these cookies as much as we do. Bye now.